A subtle shift has occurred, though it's hard to say exactly when. China no longer seems to regard the UK, France, Germany, Japan, and Russia as peers. Instead, its focus is now locked, aimed directly at America's global hegemony. The recent controversy over the German foreign minister's visit to China is a microcosm of this. German media floated the news, claiming the minister would present 3 demands to China: relax rare earth controls, do not use military force in the Taiwan Strait, and press Russia for peace. The tone was still one of a condescending lecturer. Days later, however, Reuters confirmed the visit was canceled. The reason was blunt and glaring. No one in China wanted to meet him. This is the flip side of the textbook phrase, "A weak country has no diplomacy." Only a strong country has the confidence to say no. In truth, this is just a superficial signal. To truly understand China's development, one must look closer and examine the more profound inner work, the substance happening across this land. First, there is connectivity at the physical level. By 2025, China's border national highways will be fully connected. The G331, G228, and G219 highways will link up, creating a continuous route of 27,000 kilometers. What does this mean? It's longer than half the Earth's equator. Globally, no other country has accomplished such a feat, not even Russia or Canada, whose land masses are far larger. This isn't just a miracle of infrastructure, it's a physical symbol of national will and mobilization capability. Second, there is the upgrading of people's livelihoods. I saw a medical professor's dilemma online. The biggest challenge in teaching today is that parasite specimens are becoming increasingly rare. Lab specimens are typically 5 or 6 years old, with some rare ones being over a decade old. Teachers must repeatedly warn students, be careful. If this specimen breaks, we truly cannot replace it anytime soon. This humble brag is backed by the rapid development of China's public health. Widespread rural tap water, centralized feces treatment, designated waste collection, routine school health checks, and cheap, effective anti-parasitic drugs. The roundworms, hookworms, and blood flukes that terrified people decades ago have now, in the eyes of young doctors, become ancient creatures found only in textbooks. Third, there is the breakthrough at the technological level. A dental PhD shared a story. His lab's old American Bueller cutting machine finally had its blade die after 5 years. He contacted the original U.S. manufacturer, who quoted $800 per blade with a 3-month wait. The PhD thought this was extortion. He suddenly recalled news that Henan's diamond industry was world-leading, so he contacted a local factory to try. He was prepared to be ripped off, but the factory cautiously quoted a price, 990 RMB for 5 blades. When the blades arrived, he was shocked. The cutting effect was perfect, sample integrity was higher, and the blades were durable and rust-proof. From then on, the entire lab switched to domestic custom-made blades. Not only was the performance better, but it saved a huge amount of research funding. The PhD marveled. It turns out the import substitution we were all hoping for was hidden in a small factory in Henan. This is the true face of China's technological rise, not built on hype or slogans, but on solid, incremental breakthroughs made in countless labs and workshops. And the foundation for all this is the social safety net that catches everyone. Textbooks say China is still in, and will long remain in, the primary stage of socialism. But a poverty alleviation cadre told me, China's poverty alleviation is something only the Chinese can do, and only China dares to do. This kind of boldness and vision is simply not replicable. He said, going to the countryside for poverty work isn't about shouting slogans or fabricating data. It's about putting real money and silver into the hands of the impoverished households. No cadre dares to be negligent in this, he said, because every year we face countless inspections and household visits from the central, provincial, municipal, and county levels, plus third-party audits. We dare not let a single family live in a hazardous home, dare not let one person go without medical care, and dare not one child be unable to attend school. He said, "It's not that we are noble, it's that this system is strict and standardized to the extreme." The absolute stability of people's livelihoods is the true foundation for technological and economic takeoff. When 1.4 billion people no longer worry about food and clothing, a nation's infinite potential is truly unleashed. With a firm foundation, the rise of the superstructure becomes inevitable. In space, China is currently the only country in the world to possess a space station built and operated entirely on its own, the Tiangong. It is not an international collaborative project, it is 100% made in China. In contrast, the International Space Station is a joint project by the US, Russia, Europe, Japan, and Canada. Its funding, technology, and modules are shared. It cannot function long-term without all its partners. Today, only China's Tiangong is a truly autonomous, long-term crewed national space station. This is the fulfillment of "others rely on alliances, we rely on ourselves." In finance, the global oil trade must listen to the US dollar. After the Bretton Woods system collapsed in the 70s, the dollar was bound to oil. Saddam wanted to use the euro. He fell. Gaddafi wanted to use a unified African currency. He also fell. But in recent years, China has withstood the pressure and launched an RMB-denominated crude oil futures in Shanghai. The US is furious but helpless. The world has truly changed. In the past, Asian traders had to stay up all night to watch European markets. Now, more and more American and European traders are staying up late to watch the Shanghai market. Technological self-reliance, economic breakthroughs. When this power extends to the military sphere, the game changes completely. Many military fans, including myself, have noticed the US is desperately trying to avoid a direct confrontation with China. Not because it doesn't want to, but because it dares not. Because once this war starts, the myth of global military dominance it has maintained for decades will be completely shattered. The US must prop up this final facade to convince its allies and followers that it is still the unshakable world leader. But the reality has long been far from optimistic. Under the world's gaze, the once impenetrable first island chain has been reduced to a historical term. Even the second island chain is under pressure. The aircraft carrier strike groups that once projected power with impunity now tread carefully in the seas near China. The air and sea superiority they were once so confident of controlling now faces China's entire response system, from satellite reconnaissance to hypersonic strikes, and they can only proceed with extreme caution. China is no longer the passive subject of observation. It is a critical force capable of redefining the battlefield. The US knows full well that if this false facade is torn away, the world will see a paper tiger that has lost its deterrence. And a truly risen China is now reshaping the global order with unstoppable momentum. The world has already changed. It's just that some people are not yet willing to wake up.